Planet Vero Studios, brought to you by Evergreen Media, creating cohesive marketing campaigns. Evergreen Media in Vero Beach. Chris Nolan grew up in New York until he joined the U.S. Marine Corps in 1996. He then joined the U.S. Capitol Police until making the transition to real estate. Shortly after, the Nolan Group was formed. They continue to strive for the best possible experience for buyers and sellers. How can they help you in your journey? And now, here's the Nolan Show with your host, Chris Nolan.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Nolan Show, and so glad you're here to join us here in the studio with my co-host Heather Lewis. How you doing, Heather?
I'm doing fabulous.
Awesome. And then we got Mr. Jesse over there running everything behind the scenes.
He's in the house.
So,
hey, what's up, everybody?
how you doing today?
Doing well. Good to be here.
Well, I gotta tell you. So I wanted to talk today about mindset and professionalism.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like perfect timing. So I go to meet with two agents earlier today, and I had great meetings, right?
Right.
But then I got to drive back to the office. So I stopped to, use the restroom and stuff. And this guy's waiting out by my car. And I walk up and he's missing a bunch of teeth and he's got tattoos all over his face. And
which is fine.
Which
by
is
the
fine.
way.
It's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah,
It's fine. But this is kind of like, just setting the stage,
Yeah, we're
right?
setting the stage, exactly.
So I walk up and he points at my car. He goes, I was thinking about getting into real estate at one point.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, well, what's keeping you? He goes, well, the tattoos on my face and the 4 felony convictions. so all right. So this is good, right?
I just can't.
Oh yeah.
I can't. It's like everywhere you go. I just want to ride around so I can see all this craziness.
But it gets better. It gets better, right? So with that, he's talking about his 4 felony convictions. Then he says, well, I actually was released at 4 a.m. this morning. I was like, wow. Okay, cool.
Great timing.
He's like, yeah, but I need to make some money, feed my kids and all that stuff.
Right.
I'm like, absolutely. So while you're standing outside of a convenience store at noon, probably not the best place to stand, but that's fine.
Right, but hey.
So then with that, this guy comes walking up and he's like, does anybody have some money for some food? Real quick, this guy whips out a wad of cash and goes, I'll buy you food. All right, or I'll give you money for food. If this is for food, he says, but if it's for drugs, you got to come back and get them from me. So now he's trying to make a drug deal right there on the side of the road. I'm like...
But he doesn't plan on going back.
Yeah, but he wants to get into real estate. So anyway...
On that note, there are some restrictions.
There are
when
some
you
restrictions.
Getting your license.
So
yes.
It was just so perfect because I was just thinking about talking today about, mindset and professionalism. And... this was not it.
No.
So anyway, like Heather said, I run into this stuff all the time. So from now on, we're just going to call him Bob. All right. So It's going to be hashtags conversations with Bob.
I love it.
Yeah, definitely check it out because it just happens all the time. So definitely check out the hashtag. We just started it, but it'll grow because we got all sorts of crazy stuff going on out there.
We could sit here and say we could just give stories all day long about real estate and the craziness we
absolutely. So so bottom line, when you're looking for a realtor, you definitely if they're licensed, they don't have felony convictions because that doesn't work. So that is a showstopper, folks. So unfortunately, but you want to pick somebody with some professionalism. So it was rather an interesting way to start the morning for sure. So
that's something.
There's some special people out there.
There is.
But anyway,
yes,
we'll save the rest of them for another time. But I had to share that with everybody because it had me cracking up. And if nothing else, the whole thing. Well, if you want your drugs, come to me.
Well, yeah, that's the whole thing. Because like I said, I knew you were painting a picture, but I had to let everybody know in the background. Doesn't matter if you have lots of tattoos and no teeth, right? It was just painting the picture of the whole scene, and that was awesome. You just had to see it all there, and
absolutely tattoos, all that stuff. And we have realtors that have different styles, and obviously everybody knows I wear a tie to work, and because I'm looking to set a certain standard for our team. But I know people that sell houses in shorts and whatever, and that's on you, and how you work with your clients is up to you. But there are certain things that are even across the board, I would say.
Absolutely, yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I'll let you finish, and then I'll punch in because I know with our team, and that's something that you expect, and that's something that, you've brought to all of our attention when we first, were looking to come on the team.
Yeah, well, when you're out there, you may know your client, and you may have a great relationship, and you may have been out with them in a social atmosphere. Right. But when we're at work, it's no longer about that social atmosphere. We are there to do a job, and a lot of what we do is based on how people perceive us.
Absolutely.
So when I'm going in and the other agent sees me as a professional, and my contracts are written solid, like we do, and all of our materials are solid, and we put together a neat package, they're going to feel a lot more warm and fuzzy about working with us.
Absolutely. And the same vice versa.
Right.
I mean, when I get a great contract, whether it works out or not, I'm the first one that'll say, thank you for sending me such a great looking contract. Because things are filled in, everything's filled in. There's no missing spots. There's nothing, we all make mistakes. I get it. But it is nice to get well-written contracts because you feel more comfortable about the complete transaction.
Well, and it's not a suggestion. These are legal documents.
Absolutely.
So we have to be on point. And that's why on our team, we run drills and make sure that everybody knows exactly what it is. That's why, again, I mean, I've read the contract, I can't tell you how many times, but we're going through it as a team again, line by line, and making sure that everybody has a full understanding of every paragraph in there.
Oh, yeah.
Because each paragraph means something.
It does.
It's not in there just because they need to fill up the page. So you have to know what it is. But when you're going into an offer situation, you have to know what you're doing so that this way you can get the best parameters on the offer, not just the sales price, because there's all the other details in there on who's paying what and everything else.
And your client, you should go through every paragraph.
Yeah.
Well, the client, unless they're like, Heather, Chris, I know the contract, I know what to expect, and that's one thing, or they'll look it over, or they're familiar with contracts, but especially new home buyers or someone that hasn't purchased in a long time, they want to know what they're signing. So you need to be able to explain everything to them.
And contracts change. We
just talked about that, didn't we? Yeah.
Yeah, we get contracts that change, and you have to have somebody that's keeping up on it.
You do.
So, and that's part of it. Definitely the knowledge. What is your agent? When you're talking with an agent, you want to make sure that they possess the knowledge of the market.
Yes.
Right.
Absolutely.
The contract. What do these different things mean? 2 or 3 years ago, nobody knew what an escalation addendum was.
Which is crazy. Yeah. That's crazy.
So only a few people had used it.
But they weren't used as much. You're right.
They weren't used. Now, they were used in the past, but because, according to NAR, right, 91% of the agents that have licenses now were not here when the rates were above 5% before. Right. Okay, so that means we have a lot of new agents running around out there, and they don't have. It's not that they're bad agents or bad people. They just don't have the experience to know some of those tools that were available to us in the different market. And
some of them do, because they're getting great training. If you come over to the Nolan Group, come over to EXP, we're going to give you that training as well. So, but no, the escalation, and you need to know those things. I mean, you want an agent that I mean, even if you don't want to use an escalation clause, I've never been a huge fan, honestly. And if you want to explain to everybody what an escalation clause is, so they know.
Yeah. So an escalation clause is very basic. It's just a tool that allows you to make an offer where you're comfortable with, but it allows the offer to be pushed up in increments so that you can stay at the top of the offers when you're going into multiple offers without going past a certain cap. It'll limit it. There's regulations there. There's also some specifications saying that the seller has to provide proof that there is another contract and they didn't just go up, right? So, it's a pretty neat tool, and anybody that wants to go over it, we're happy to go over it with them.
Absolutely.
So, but little things like that, knowing how to use these addendums and how to use them to your advantage is huge.
Yeah, I know when I first started using them, I wasn't thrilled. I felt like I was always showing my hand. Meaning, my deck of cards. So we know that the buyer is willing to go higher, but the buyer doesn't, of course, want to go higher unless there's actually an offer. And it's tough because it can go either way, right?
But it depends on the market.
It depends on the market.
This is where knowing our market and the location and the house that we're bidding on and the price of the homes, because yes, you're right. You don't want to tip your hand.
Yep.
But if we're going into a super competitive situation, the house is marked down low, we don't want to lose it.
Yep.
We don't want to have to wait and say, oh, no, somebody came in with a higher offer. So this will automatically push it up, but also require that other agent to provide the proof that somebody else did that.
And then, of course, we could go on and on all day long about appraisals, because even though they offer more, and we saw a lot of that going on during COVID and the craziness where they would offer ridiculous amounts. And then I would hear buyer's agents say to their clients, don't worry, it's not going to appraise. Well, that's why if you're a strong listing agent, you get some kind of, addendum put in place that if they're going to offer that and it doesn't appraise, we want them to back it up with cash. So, we could go on and on and on.
Yeah, and that's about strategies. Depending on whether you're buying or selling, it's about having an agent, a team that has the strategies to get you where you need to be. We have direct contact with our brokers on a regular basis. We have direct contact.
Yes.
We have Block and Scarpa, the law firm. We have really great relationship with them, so they provide assistance when we need it. So we have a lot of the bases, all the bases covered, which is a beautiful thing.
Absolutely.
So,
I always keep my folks close, and when I have a question, whether I'm not sure or I just want a second opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like my girl Vicky. I'm always calling her Vicky. Remind me.
Well, you got to have your go-tos, right?
You do.
Because we don't know everything. But I do know that, unfortunately, if we don't take a break, Jesse's going to yell at us. So let's go ahead and take a quick break. And guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Got it.
Chris Nolan grew up in New York until he joined the U.S. Marine Corps in 1996.
Not crypto coins, not penny stocks. The best tool to build wealth is still real estate. I'm Chris Nolan of the Nolan Group of eXp Realty. Invest today and allow your real estate to provide a future for your family tomorrow. We'll show you the way. Visit mynexthomefinder.com.
Who's got time to clean? When you need it clean, call Germ Wizards LLC. Using the most up-to-date equipment, Germ Wizards pays strict attention to detail. They make dust disappear. Whether you need your office to sparkle, your home to shine, or you want to give someone a great gift, hire the Germ Wizards. It's easy to get a quote online. There's even an online portal to discuss details directly with your cleaning professional. Visit GermWizardsLLC.com. Make dust disappear with Germ Wizards.
At Compass Pest Control, we focus on killing pests where they live and breed by terminating them outside your home or office before they can get in. Hi, I'm Chris Hudman, owner of Compass Pest Control. We prevent roaches, ants, and other pests from getting inside with a proactive approach. We don't stop there. We also offer lawn and plant health programs. And we'll never sell you something you don't need. At Compass Pest Control, our prices are competitive, your satisfaction is guaranteed. Get a free estimate. Visit CompassPests.com.
Affordable Water continues to offer you the best water on the Treasure Coast. Earn a competitive salary and a 401k working weekdays as a delivery driver or water treatment tech. To apply, stop in at Affordable Water in Sebastian at 645 Old Dixie Highway.
It's Bluegrass Night every Thursday at Marsh Landing Restaurant. Enjoy our famous swamp water with down-home favorites like frog legs, fried chicken, and peanut butter pie. The music starts at 6:30 every Thursday. Call for reservations. Bluegrass Night at Marsh Landing in Fellsmere.
For 67 years, Sturgis Lumber and Hardware has been here for the people of Vero Beach. Through ups, downs, even hurricanes, Sturgis stands tall, 4 generations strong. Open weekday mornings at 7. Don't go west. Stick with the best. Sturgis Lumber and Hardware.
All right, guys, we're back. So glad you're still there. We were just talking about some of the mindset and professionalism and everything that goes into real estate. Obviously, we're talking about our conversation with Bob as well. So
it's going to be a great one. I'm just glad it's not the name I was given, so don't even say it on air. So, no, it's not Karen.
No.
So, but anyway.
But yeah, no, the professionalism is huge, right? You got to have respect. Mm-hmm. And one of my biggest pet peeves, everybody knows it, is punctuality, right? Yes, and that's on both sides. We as realtors need to be punctual, but you guys as buyers and sellers, you have to be punctual, and realistically, you have to be punctual. And if your realtor's not punctual, you need to hold them accountable, because there's timelines on everything, on the contracts, in getting into a house. If you're trying to get into a house and it is a competitive market and you guys show up late, or they show up late, or we forget and we go do it the next day, you could lose a house because of it.
Absolutely.
And it does happen from time to time, but punctuality is huge, and it also shows your professionalism.
Oh, yeah. And we're on a timeline, too.
Yeah.
So, I think my biggest thing is when I have clients that have listed their home and they leave with their pets and, and their kids, and they leave maybe just to go around the corner for half an hour, while someone's showing, and then they don't even show up. Or they show up 2 hours later and walk in the door.
Yeah. Well, the nice thing is on our team, we have Ken to make sure that none of us show up late. So.
Oh, yeah. I'm not even talking about us. I'm talking about when we're going to show houses.
No,
but yes.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Ken is on us.
Ken makes sure that we all stay on the straight and narrow and make sure that we hit all our timelines.
Timelines, yep.
So, and that's why, again, the power of a team, because Heather and I and the rest of the team, we're running around, we're doing this, and we're going to appointments and all that stuff. And we have Ken, in our background, and he's watching all those important dates to make sure we don't miss them.
Yes, yeah.
And that's where the power of a team really comes in handy. So I'm a huge supporter of the team. Obviously, I love what we do.
Yeah, me too.
And we have some great agents. Super excited about what we have to offer. So, and then of course, once we go past that, listening is huge. And I bring up myself a lot because when I was buying a house, I didn't have me to calm me down, and I do this all the time. And it was stupid, but when I set out to buy my house, I had 3 criteria that I was looking for: a 3-car garage, double lot, and a swimming pool. And I would have taken any one of them, right? But I walked into this house, and it was the perfect house, and it had none of them.
It had none of them.
So
That's
sometimes,
so
you got to listen to your realtor a little bit and let them make the suggestions, because they're watching for cues and things that are really important to you, and you may not even realize it because you're so involved in the sale right now that you have these things built up in your head, but you may not realize. And I've done this with many people, and they realize that the perfect house was just a little bit off of what they were actually saying out loud.
Sometimes it's just the feeling you get.
It's feeling, lifestyle, right? I think that's probably why we have those feelings. It's about the lifestyle that we see. Do you enjoy entertaining? Do you enjoy your quiet time? Do you enjoy tinkering in the garage? Right? What is it that's most important to you? Yeah. Trust me.
I know. I was there too, looking at homes, and there was a lot of things I didn't get. I would have loved everything to be completely updated, but I realized those things can be done. I got all the room I wanted. It was something I felt as soon as I walked in the door, and I had looked at more homes than I wish to even mention.
Yeah.
Because I am an agent, and I was coming from somewhere else. The other agent thought, all right, I'm not going to upset her. I'm going to do whatever she wants because she knows what she's doing nice. And I swore I was going to be the easiest person. And it was tough because it was a whole new area, but I love my house. So, and there's definitely still a lot of things I want to do to it, but I realized that, there's time.
Well, we've done brand new houses, custom builds, semi-custom builds.
Yep.
And the one that still, boggles my mind, we had spent months designing this house before we went to contract. We finally got it all done. They built the house. They did all these customizations. And 2 weeks after we settled on the house, I came around the corner. They had tore out the kitchen because they realized that it just wasn't exactly right. And they didn't have any problems with it. It just wasn't right. And they decided to redo it.
Wow.
So
that's so crazy. But you're right. You hear about it all the time.
Yeah. So bottom line is, when you buy a house, there's always going to be something. Once you find out how it actually lives and how you live inside the house, there's going to be these different things. But listening is key. Obviously, we have to listen to our clients, verbal and nonverbal, because there's things that tell us what somebody's looking for, and then help them negotiate the best possible terms.
Absolutely. And find out. I mean, it may be the perfect house, but then there is a fear, everyone does it, and try to figure out what that is, though. I mean, like, I have clients that they found finally that perfect home that they, maybe it's all 3 things like you were talking about, but something is holding them back. Well, it is. It's nerve-wracking, but it's for us to help with that. What exactly is it?
You were right there when I just had the conversation with the client. I don't know if you heard the conversation, but they were actually looking at, or a potential client, it was somebody new, they want to get into investments, right? Investing in real estate and turn them into rentals, and it's great. But he wanted to use a VA loan. Now, a VA loan can't be used for investment properties, right? But I heard what he was trying to say, so I brought it back to a strategy that would work for him. So you can buy a home with a VA loan, live in it for a year, then you've met all your criteria.
Yes.
Now you can move on to the next one and use that as your primary, use it as primary residence for a year, then turn it into the rental, right? Perfectly legal. If you do it the other way, it's obviously mortgage fraud.
Yes, it's mortgage fraud, and we're not going to be a part of that.
No, not going to be part of that. But once we lay out the strategy, because if you don't do it, you don't know it, right?
That's right. And they don't, and it's usually what it is. They just don't know, and they're looking for us for advice. And if for some reason we don't know, there's so many. I mean, lenders. We've got great preferred lenders, but yes, we know, but a lot of folks don't. Yeah. There's always something new to learn.
Yeah, absolutely, and we'll continue to learn. That's why we do training every week. We do, practice, and we got some great stuff going on right now.
Oh my gosh, it's been so insane, and I love it. I was telling my husband, I said, I love that it is like super busy because it keeps a smile on my face. I mean, yeah, it's a little chaotic. I already said, well, I think I might have to get a cleaning lady unless these teenagers start cleaning. But I'm loving it, so
I
keeps
like
me
it.
going. I know you like it. You want us all to be super busy.
Well, I'm talking about getting your kids to be the cleaning ladies and make them clean the house.
Well, Chris gives them an allowance, but they don't do anything. I think that the only way you should get an allowance, I didn't get an allowance, and we had chores because that's what you should do.
Give them a check sheet.
Well, that's what my husband said. He says, "You're right. You're right." I don't know if you heard me talking to him. He says, "I'm going to give him some things to do. Just tell me what you want done." So
when Dutchie was little, he wanted to. We had this go-kart that I'd gotten from somebody that was giving it away, but it was a little tough to get started. The carburetor it was a little bit messed up, and I was in the middle of doing something. He's like, "I want to ride the go-kart. I want to ride the go-kart." So I was like, "Look, you have two options. Either you can wait until I'm done, or you." And I told him how to take the air filter off, spray a little carb cleaner in there, and what to do to get it started, then pull it. And he's like, "All right." 15 minutes later, all of a sudden, I heard him buzzing around.
That's so cool.
So, I mean, if you give kids tasks and stuff, they'll do it, especially if they want something
If they
bad
want
enough.
something, And the girls are good about if I need something done, they'll do it. But I said, if you're doing an allowance, maybe we pay them a little bit bigger of an allowance, and they do, like, more cleaning. Instead of hiring a cleaning lady, why not?
Now, I do have to tell you on that note, when they got that go-kart running, right? And it was him and one of his buddies. And we had a creek behind the house. And of course, they decided to try and jump the creek. Didn't work. Okay. So they come walking up and they are covered up to their chins in mud. I mean, just mud. Okay. They're covered. And of course, they want to go in and change. I was like, there is no way you're coming in the house when you're caked in mud. So I was like, I got an idea. So I broke out the hose. I'm like, Sing me the Marine Corps hymn. So they started singing the Marine Corps hymn, and I was hosing them down, and it was they were having a blast. We had a good time. Of course, the mother, she was a little bit skeptical on the whole thing, but it was rather
oh no, that's
humorous.
Great. They would have had to get squirted outside. They were coming in like that.
Yeah, it was bad. But yeah, we had to dig that thing out of the creek, but it was all good. They had fun with it, so. But
yes, I remember the go-kart days with the boys. The girls, they not so much. They don't even come out of the house.
Yeah, it's all good stuff, but good times, good memories. Yes. So what do you got going on for the rest of the week? Because I know you're
showing homes
busy
tomorrow. I just got the call as we were speaking. I'm gonna book those tonight for tomorrow, and then Thursday, Friday, I've got appointments set up. I have a listing appointment on Thursday. And then some more showings on Friday, I believe. So It's just a crazy week. This weekend, I'm trying to decide whether I'm going to probably have more showings, but I just think I'm going to take off the weekend not take off the weekend. I'm never taking off. But not doing open houses because I need to clean my house.
Absolutely.
What about you?
I'm going to be running around. I got a lot of the same, but guys,
we're out of time.
Yeah, we're just about out of time. So follow us on Facebook. Go to the Nolan group of eXp Realty. Check out all the great things we got going on. Go to the Nolan Show and definitely follow us. Check in with the hashtag conversations with Bob as we start to bring out some of these stories because some of them are really freaking funny. So, but anyway, follow us on Facebook. Follow us to your new home. We'll see you next week, everybody. Bye.
Goodbye, everyone.